What up guys, it is me, Meto Tatu Gamer here, back at it again with another video, and this is my top 10 PlayStation 2 action RPGs, which is one of my favorite genres on one of my favorite video game consoles. So starting off here with number 10 is Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. So this game is kind of cutting it close between what can be considered an action RPG on the PS2. I consider Dirge of Cerberus to be an action RPG because there are RPG elements. You do get to level up. You do have materia like in the original Final Fantasy VII and all that, but it's a hybrid of an RPG and an arcade-style third-person action adventure shooter game. And I really love it for the gameplay. I love Vincent Valentine. He's one of my favorite characters in all of Final Fantasy. And I really enjoyed the gunplay. The story didn't really capture me all too much. It's not the greatest story in Final Fantasy VII, as you are going after a Shinra secret task force called Deep Ground that's led by these super soldiers called the Sviets. And you do get to learn a little bit more about Vincent and what he's all about. But overall, I just absolutely love the gameplay. You do have some melee combat, but you really want to go all in with the gunplay. You do get to customize your weapons. You can have a pistol, a sniper rifle, or a machine gun. Just overall, that's the main reason why Dirge of Cerberus is here on this list. And it's number 10 because I just don't really care so much for the story. But don't get me wrong, the characters are pretty interesting, and I hope to see them make a return in the remake trilogy, and hopefully maybe even get like a full remake of Dirge of Cerberus, because I do have a feeling that Square Enix might have a plan for this game. Okay, so number 9 is Samurai Legend Musashi. This is the kind of sequel or prequel, whatever you want to call it. It is the continuation of Brave Fencer Musashi, except for this time Musashi has a different look and he's set in a different world as he is summoned to save this princess from another world. And you do get similar combat to the original game, but now it's like all completely... I don't really know the best way to describe it because I never really played Brave Fencer Musashi. I've only played this game, and at first, to be honest, I felt like this game was really slow. The combat was slow, so I didn't really give it a proper first chance. But when I picked it up for a second time and actually got into it and got beyond just like the first chapter, I ended up really liking this game. Now, the voice acting ain't the greatest. Musashi sounds like this weird surfer bro, and this game can also be considered like a maiden saving simulator type game, because you do get to carry the female characters to their destination when you rescue the maidens, because there's these maidens that you have to go and rescue that hold these very powerful elemental swords that you need in order to defeat the bad guys. And you also do need to copy some skills from other characters and even some of the bad guys. You can focus in and copy some skills to be able to add to your skill set. And overall, it's a really fun, quirky, very short action RPG. You can beat this in under 20 hours, just like with Dirge of Cerberus. It's a very short RPG, and I really do like Samurai Legend Musashi. Now, next up is Rogue Galaxy. This is by level 5, and it is one of the most beautiful looking games on the PlayStation 2. But the main reason I have this so low on this list is that the dungeons and the enemy encounter rates are abysmal. The dungeons, albeit do look really cool, they just take forever to navigate through. And along every corner, every like few seconds, as soon as you enter battle and you exit, you're like you take a few steps forward and then boom, another random enemy encounter. Now, I do like the combat in Rogue Galaxy. I really like the story. I like the way it looks. The art style is beautiful. The CG rendered cutscenes are some of the best on the PlayStation 2, and the voice acting is also really great. You got like Steve Bloom, Yuri Lowenthal, two big name anime voice actors in this game, and the music is also great. The combat, I think I already said, is great. You do have an AP system, and it does where you can only do a certain amount of attacks or unleash skills, and then you gotta wait for the gauge to refill before you can start attacking again. But just the main reason I put this so low is just because the dungeons are super long and the enemy encounter rate is just atrocious, and I really would like a full remake of this game where they can fix that. Like, put the enemies in the world for you to be able to decide if you want to fight or not just have random enemy encounters. I really do not like random enemy encounters. Okay, so number 7 here is Kingdom Hearts 2, and you're going to be asking, like, Mecha, but Kingdom Hearts 2 is your favorite Kingdom Hearts game. Why is it so low on your list of top 10 PlayStation 2 action RPGs? And that, my friends, the main reason I have this so low, it's going to surprise you. I mean, yeah, I love the Disney worlds, albeit they're not like the most deep in the series. Like, there's not a whole lot to them to explore and all that, but they do have some great selection of Disney worlds, from the Pride Lands to Mulan, and even including Pirates of the Caribbean. The story beats are pretty cool. The introduction to Organization 13 is also really cool to have in this game, and the whole opening with Roxas, albeit it did take a little long to get through that opening. It's not the worst in JRPGs, but the main reason I put this so low is towards the end of the game, you have to fight some of the members of Organization 13, and there's one in particular that really pissed me off so much that I just stopped playing this game for a long time because I just couldn't get past that boss fight. Now, yeah, that might be a very petty reason, but this is my list, and for that simple reason is why I'm putting Kingdom Hearts 2 this low. But don't get me wrong, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a really great game and one of the best in the entire franchise. But to me, there are several other games that are a lot more fun. Like number 6, Star Ocean 3. Now, this is another game where, yeah, I put it in this part of the list because of a boss fight, that being the final boss of the game. And even the final dungeon alone kind of makes it lose points because it's 2 dungeons back to back, and there's no fast travel in this game. So if they were to ever remake Star Ocean 3, I would love for there to be fast travel between like save points and maybe like towns and whatnot. But Star Ocean 3 was the introduction to the Star Ocean series for me. I played this game, I picked it up for dirt cheap, and I ended up really falling in love with this game. It took me a long time to beat it, over 100 hours, mainly because I did get stuck on the final boss, but it turns out that was actually more of a me issue and not a game issue. I just needed to level grind and be at the perfect level to be able to stand a chance against the final boss. But overall, I really love Star Ocean 3, and I would love to see a full remake in the style of Star Ocean: The Second Story R done to this game. I feel like it would put this game even higher on this list, if, or at least higher on my list of favorite action RPGs and overall. But yeah, Star Ocean 3 does have some amazing music by Motoi Sakuraba, a pretty interesting story, plot twists and all. I know a lot of people don't really care for the plot twist in this game, but that is one of the reasons why I ended up really liking this game, and it's one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games of all time because of that. So, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about Star Ocean 3. Okay, so number 5 is Shining Force Exa. This is a kind of a semi-isometric looking action RPG set in the Shining Force series. All of the Shining games that were released on PlayStation 2 are action RPGs, but out of the three of them, Shining Force Exa is my all-time favorite. I really love the characters, the art style, very anime. Also, Toma and Cyril, the two main characters, it's a dual protagonist story, and you are kind of forced to play as both of them. There's some, like, castle defense segments of this game where you have to defend your castle with a group of characters made up with those that are left at the Geo Fortress, which is your kind of like main hub headquarters that you get early on in the game. It's a transformable battle fortress that the main characters discover after finding the legendary Shining Force, which in this game it is a sword that then winds up like morphing with one of the arms of Toma, who is the main male protagonist. He is your basic sword user using axes, swords, two-handed swords, pole arms, spears, and whatnot. And then Cyril is the female protagonist, and she uses magic, like magic tomes, and she also can equip a crossbow for long-range attacks. And you do want to make sure that you level up both of them and all your characters, make sure they're all about equal, because you never know when you are forced to play as the other protagonist to defend the Geo Fortress, and then the other group is out in the field exploring, trying to save the world from this malevolent force named Zaltra, which is one of the most annoying final bosses in all of JRPGs that I've faced off against. And I am once again running into the next game. So this is number 5, Ys 6, Arc of Nippe. This wasn't one of my favorite PlayStation 2 action RPGs as of last year, but this year I ended up finally beating the game, and my word, this game is absolutely amazing. At first, I wasn't really quite enjoying it because I was so used to party-based RPGs, switching between different characters and discovering enemy weaknesses with different characters, learning new skills from them, and just learning about the other characters, the other party members. So this is one of the very few RPGs that I played at the time where it's just you, the main protagonist, adult Christian, as he is stuck on the Canaan Islands and having to basically save the world from whatever threat that is discovered on the Canaan Islands, and just discovering the mystery between them and learning about the different people that live on these islands. And just overall, I really enjoyed the music. The Falcom sound team did a killer job with the soundtrack. The combat is very fast and fluid, just like in all of the other modern Ys games from this game moving forward. Ones like Ys Origin and even Open Dawn use the same graphics engine and the same combat style. And the boss fights are truly epic, huge boss fights with just devastating attacks that you have to defend yourself against. And you also get 3 elemental swords that you can upgrade and level up. You have one of fire, one of lightning, and one of wind. And overall, I just really love Ys Arc of Nippe. Now, number 3 is Radiata Stories, one of the quirkiest PS2 RPGs. But this is one game that I hold very close to my heart, because a few years ago I was experiencing a major case of gaming burnout, and it was this game that saved me and reignited my love for Jrpgs. This is another game created by Square Enix and Tri-Ace, same people behind Star Ocean and even the Valkyrie Profile series. And this takes on more of a cartoony style with its graphics. It's one of the most beautiful looking games on the PlayStation 2, up there with Rogue Galaxy and some of other games that are mentioned in this video. One of them is actually going to be coming up here soon. But I love the combat in this game. There are some combat mechanics and gameplay mechanics that you don't normally see in RPGs today. You have a link system that will allow you to learn skills from some of your other party members, as well as create new formations in order to take on the enemies, like you be more offensive or defensive. There's also a kicking mechanic in the overworld where you can kick anyone and everything in order to get items or to go into one-on-one duels, which could be required in order to recruit certain characters. There are almost 200 NPCs that you can recruit as party members, and there's even 2 different story routes in Radiata Stories, so you have like multiple, a couple different endings. There's a human route, and then there is a non-human route. I went with the human route, and I am doing a second playthrough where I will be doing the other story route and figuring what that is, and that's Radiata Stories. So number 2 is .HatGU. Now this is technically kind of cheating because it's 3 games, but all 3 games are all connected. It all makes up for one huge, amazing, fantastic story with some of the greatest world building and character development as you play as Haseo as he dives into the second iteration of the very popular, massively multiplayer online game, The World R2, and comes across new characters that at first, he's kind of very iffy about them because he was once a member of a guild called the Twilight Brigade, and that guild had to disband after a bunch of different events that kind of somewhat traumatized Haseo in a way. He did end up losing a loved one to a player character, and now he is set on a path of revenge. And then he ends up coming across that player character who then performs a very strange, unique skill that winds up setting Haseo back down to level 1, but then awakening a power within Haseo that he then eventually is able to control on his own, and that comes in the form of an avatar, which is kind of like an ethereal mech type being based off of the 8 epitaphs of Twilight. There's a whole bunch of lore in .HatGU. I could go on forever just about that lore. But the gameplay is like that of an MMORPG with real-time action-based combat, randomly generated generated dungeons, and when you get to unleash the power of your avatar, it kind of plays similar to like Zone of the Enders in a way. That's the best way I can describe the avatar combat. And just overall, the story is truly one to experience. The music is very amazing. The character development is some of the best. And at one point, this was my favorite game of all time. But there is just one game that takes place above that. And to no surprise, for those who really truly know me here on YouTube, number one is not only my number one favorite PlayStation 2 RPG, but my favorite game of all time, and one that I've talked about so many times before, is Tales of the Abyss. This, just like .GU, has some amazing world building, some of the best character development. It has a stacked voice cast with Johnny Young Bosch, Yuri Lowenthal, Liam O'Brien, just to name a few. So those are pretty much the only ones that I kind of remember. But there's also some amazing voice talent in this game. The music is done by Motoi Sakuraba, and it's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. The opening theme, Karma by Bumpa Chicken, is one of my favorite songs ever. I love the soundtrack so much that I bought the CD soundtrack. It was a Japanese import. I love listening to the soundtrack to this game. The combat is one of my favorites in all of the Tales series. It's not the best. It's far from the best, but to me, it's one of my favorites. It's known as the Flex Range Linear Motion Battle System, and it allows you to kind of free run throughout the battle and be able to like just move around the arena. And I do really like the combat. I'm currently on a second playthrough of Tales of the Abyss, and it is one of my favorite games of all time. And I am planning on doing another video all about this truly amazing game, so this is not going to be the last time you hear me talk about Tales of the Abyss at all, not by a long shot. I don't think there's... So far, there's a lot of great games that I've played, but none have truly captured my heart like Tales of the Abyss. So, that is pretty much it for my top 10 PlayStation 2 action RPGs. There's plenty more action RPGs that I have yet to finish on the PlayStation 2. A lot of them I've already started playing and just haven't really finished yet. So who knows, there could be a possibility I could wind up updating this list in the future, but for now, this is my current top 10 PlayStation 2 JRPGs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and with that, I will see you guys next time. I am Mecha Otaku Gamer, signing out. Peace.